1 in 3 parents apparently think it's acceptable for their children to miss school. Right, so this is a big issue. What do you do about getting kids back into the classroom? And, of course, everyone's now setting out their stall. I'd do this, I'd do that, I'd do the other. Something caught my eye. It was the Shadow Education Secretary, Bridget Phillipson. Listen to what she had to say. And for me, this was such a crucial part of an interview that she gave. Listen.
I think those parents that choose to take their children out of school for holidays or for trips or where it's not necessary should reflect seriously, because that damages children's life chances. They only get one chance at school. They only get one childhood.
I just found that so ridiculous. It stopped me much. It did actually. I'm not even exaggerating. It stopped me in my tracks because I thought, what a stupid position to have, that you genuinely believe that a child's upbringing, their whole childhood and life experience is singularly centred around a classroom. And if your mum takes you to Butlins for a week, heaven forbid, or camping or wherever you want to go on your holiday, that is somehow damaging your life chances. Funny how those kids' life chances are not being damaged when you've got all these teacher training days in the middle of the week, when you've got all these strikes in the middle of the week. Funny that. But anyway,
You should reflect seriously. Did you notice that?
I know.
You should. It's real bossy boots language. That is the headmistress telling you off, Dewberry, that you will lead your life in this way. I'm the son of teachers, and I would therefore agree that it's a good idea for children to go to school. But at the same time, it's also a good idea for families to be able to afford breaks sometimes, and you get cheaper breaks out of the school holidays. So that's always been the tension on that front. And I would tell Bridget Phillipson to reflect seriously on that aspect.
You'd wag your biro in her face and you tell. But for me, right, this points to like a critical, because we've got so many plans coming up. Apparently, Labour, you're going to have text message warning system, you're going to have this national database, you name it. But we've got this notion in this country, right, that all kids learn the same way. They all need to be taught this ridiculous stuff that's getting more ridiculous by the day anyway, and that you're going to measure everyone in the same way with these academic outputs. I actually just think the education system's broken. So what I would like to see from Labour or whoever, Kevin, is more radical reform.
Well, I think, Michelle, there is quite a lot of radical policy being put forward by Bridget Phillipson.
Like what, a text message? If kids
no, well, the text message thing is actually Rishi's test that they're trialling at the moment. Where she comes from in this speech today is that she comes from a good place, which is basically trying to say that days at school, every day is precious, and she wants to try and give a lead if the Labour Party is given the privilege of government, she wants to say to people, I'm a Secretary of State for Education that believes that, every day is precious at school. We want your kids to make the most of it. And it's also interesting, I think what the Labour Party should look at, and I'll tell her this when I next see her, is stopping...
Oh, name dropping there, did you see that? Did you see that?
Because I think that companies should be prevented from hiking up the costs of holidays based around when the kids are off holiday.
You can't prevent
Yes, because you can.
That. It's a free
must
market.
be ways, because companies profiteer. They stick the costs of holidays up because they know, particularly when state schools are going to be on holiday.
But that's basic supply and demand economics.
No.
And you yourself
that's just profiteering. I'm a signed-up capitalist, but that's profiteering. That's not fair. That's not right.
Well...
You see, I just struggle. So, fair enough, Rishi is the one that talks text messages, but Labour are talking national databases. I mean, is that really, radical? Because to me, everyone's accepting that the school model that we've got now, in the way that we've got it, is the right model, and what we need to do is make sure we sellotape kids into it and punish if you're not in it. Why aren't we looking at, is this the right model?
Well, this database stuff is going to create more bureaucratic demands on schools, which are already completely overstuffed with paperwork. And I'm not convinced that a database will work. I thought the text message thing seems a reasonable idea to at least tell the parents, look, do you know your kid is playing truant? Yeah. And then it's up to the parents whether or not they do anything about it. I mean, it is a very good idea, kids and parents, to attend school. However, if you decide to miss a few days, it's not going to make the difference between your kid becoming Stephen Hawking or becoming, a useless dropout.
Why? Right. So if we feel so strongly that a child can't go on holiday because apparently their whole life is over and their life opportunities are limited, why isn't the policy then that all your teacher training days, all of your daft inset days, or whatever it is that you call all your different days these days that you do during term time, why are all they being ruled out then? Okay. You can have them on your weekends and your school holidays.
You're giving me quite a lot to have to respond to it, Michelle.
Oh, you're earning your money tonight. He's earning his money.
You're characterising inset days as daft, right? Many teachers would say they're not daft and they're part of trying to get the teachers to give the best quality teaching they can to our kids. And the fact is, you know, the statistics on the level of academic performance for kids who are persistently absent are terrifying. Only 5% of kids who are persistently absent from school get 5 or more GCSEs. You know, the attainment levels at A-level and GCSEs are all down. And I agree with you that schools should be interesting and inspiring, but I would gently disagree in that your characterisation of what's being put forward here, in my view, is not entirely fair, because what she is talking about is trying to encourage every possible day in school to be had by children because the end result is better.
I snored through half of my lessons.
Well, look how
I can't believe that. I can't believe
Look how you've turned out.
But also in maths, if you missed the first bit of maths, then you were a goner because you could never catch up. Well, I never did catch up. But, you know, it's such as this is the way of life.
But why have we got such a double standard? Because when the school, or whoever it is, the unions or whoever it is, they want to close the classrooms, you can be in the classroom one day, then the very next day they're going to close it down because of a cold or COVID or whatever it was.
First, they closed at the first chance, didn't they?
But that's what I mean, and it was repeatedly closed. You had situations, you still have situations in some universities where they still do their lectures
You ask
on a
why,
Zoom
Michelle?
call.
Why? Because politicians love telling us off. And the tone of Phillipson there was terribly snooty. She's very patronising. She's wagging her little finger and saying,
Well,
"We're going to do do things that the way we say." And that's, I mean, I think she's mistaken in that. I think you should be a little bit more liberal about this, live and let live, and occasionally turn a blind eye if Jenkins Minor is absent from biology.
Yes, but with all due respect, you've got a book called Stop. I think it's called Stop Bloody Telling Me Off or something like that,
Stop
right?
bloody bossing me about.
That's it, right?
Very good book.
There we go, right? So I think we know where you're coming from on this.
Yeah.
I think
I don't like being told off by politicians.
I want to hear a Secretary of State Education who values and really puts the education system on a pedestal, and I'm excited about Bridget Phillipson doing that.
I want to see an education secretary that realises that kids are not just these computers, they're all the same people that learn in the same way, that are measured by the exact same
She more or less
standards.
she said your point, Michelle, in the speech. I mean, I might be the only person who's read this speech in full. She said that today.
Anyway, moral of the story, kids, you have to go to school, otherwise you'll end up like me. I wasn't necessarily a huge fan of school. You don't want to be like me, kids.